What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keenan Rivals, bringing you sports and sports cards news every day. These last few days have been crazy. I feel like I haven't done this podcast in quite some time. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope everybody has taken the time to get their New Year's resolutions in order. I know some people think that's corny, but it's something I take very seriously. So, got to put that out there into the universe. Yeah, we also had a lot of basketball this past week. It's been a great time for basketball. Really enjoying the NBA season kind of starting around this time. Don't know if I'd like it, every year because it would be such a long, summer break, but something about the holidays and just relaxing and watching basketball has been super, super dope to me. I've been tweeting about it all week. All my tweets are kind of basketball focused. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Yesterday, we had this sick dunk by Terry Rozier on a KD, blew me away. Love this edit. Whoever edited this, by the way, great, great job. Also, be sure to shoot me a follow on Instagram if you guys haven't already. I just posted a video this weekend, me opening up a box of Prism Draft, and we're actually going to be giving that box away. So tomorrow, I'm going to do kind of a live giveaway over Daily Upside. All you have to do is go watch that video, and you can kind of see how you can enter that giveaway. It's very, very simple. So I advise everybody to go check it out. Looking at some NBA news here. I mean, we honestly just had a ton. Like I said, these last few days have been crazy. Yesterday was probably the most craziest. Had some great games yesterday. Had some blowouts, some upsets. I mean, people are just balling out, man. You see, Andre Drummond here had 24 points, 14 boards, 3 steals, 2 blocks. We kind of missed that in Detroit. Shout out to Andre Drummond. Damian Lee hit the game winner yesterday for Golden State. Wouldn't have thought that was going to be a headline. Obviously, you want Steph to take that shot. Steph was kind of open there too, but Damian Lee went ahead and drilled that. Um, yeah, just a lot of great basketball. I mean, Steph he didn't break the record, but he hit his 2500 3-pointer. We had, Demonte Sabonis is putting up all-star numbers. Again, Terry Rozier with the dunk. The Mavericks absolutely destroyed the Clippers. I mean, that was an insane game. Granted, they didn't have Kawhi Leonard, but yeah, the Clippers lost by 51 points. It was just an embarrassing effort all around. And Brandon Ingram's been balling out. Just a lot of crazy NBA news. There's not one particular article that stood out to me, but there has been a lot of good basketball. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about today, basketball and how I've been, kind of playing the market, especially on StarStock. Before we get into that, I did want to get into a few eBay auctions. Not a ton that stood out to me. We've talked about Kevin Durant here, but I noticed this Michael Porter Jr. sold yesterday. This was the Sunburst from Revolution. For those of you who don't know, Sunburst is a parallel of Revolution. It's serial number to 75, and this was a PSA 10. This auction ended for $320, and bringing it up because I'm starting to notice these Sunburst cards are kind of going for around the same price point as the Prism PSA 10. So you kind of see Michael Porter Jr. his Prism PSA 10 sold for 330 yesterday. Um, this isn't like any kind of huge news, but thought I'll point this out because these are the kind of indicators that I look for when I'm investing in a guy. Michael Porter Jr. is a little out of my price range right now for these type of cards. However, if you're investing in a lower class guy, you might actually find that his Sunburst is cheaper than his Prism. And if you do, then that's a good buying indicator because if that person starts to play well, if he starts to be consistent, if he starts to get some minutes, once he kind of gets a little more popular, we can kind of look at the data and see that the Revolution, the Sunburst, eventually will catch up to the Prism. And that's the thing here. Some of these like parallel cards or these not so popular cards, they don't really start blowing up until the player does well, like Contenders, Revolution. So, if you can find a low level guy or an underrated guy, sometimes it's best to go pick up those, cards that aren't as liquid, assuming that he's going to do well. Prism's always going to be kind of high. There's always going to be some stock in Prism, but you might be able to find these other cards for a really, really low price point. In other news, LeBron James is starting to do his thing. We saw his Topps Finest in for an all-time high yesterday, $17,600. Insane, insane card. This one's numbered to 999, and there's only 39 PSA 10s. So that's why we kind of see this one going up. So again, another testament here. Look at the data. Obviously, LeBron's an all-time player, but you want to look for these rare cards. This is going to be your select courtside, your select silver. This is going to be, those type of plays, your Revolution, your fractals. So yeah, super, super low pop, beautiful, beautiful looking card. And I'm interested to see how high it's going to go. This card has now obviously surpassed the Topps Chrome, and I think it's going to keep going up. I mean, 39 is just such a limited number, especially with the card that's serial number. So I'll be keeping an eye on these. It's not just LeBron's limited cards, though. We also saw his 2003, 2004 Bowman Chrome card go up. These are going for like 5,200, 5,500. And now we saw PSA 10 and yesterday for 6,100. So it looks like LeBron is starting to go back up. The Lakers are looking good. They got some bench depth. They're a solid looking team. LeBron's still looking youthful. You know, he got some dunks up his first few games. And yeah, you know, we're probably going to see his card start trending a little bit, especially now that we kind of have like everybody back into the league. LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant. I mean, that's going to, you know, kind of, if Kevin Durant does really well and his cards go up, you know, that should reflect LeBron's cards, and same with Steph Curry. So it's always good to see these guys kind of move. I'm still looking to pick up a LeBron James card. I have one that I think is going to be a play, but I just haven't seen it yet. So once it pops up, I'm going to be all over it. I'll talk to you guys more about that pretty soon. It's similar, you know, to this finest in terms of its rarity. So I think it's a solid play. Moving on from sports cards, we'll get back to those in a second. I want to talk to you guys about the market cap method. So you guys know I ran the sale this weekend. Looks like I got a new review. The market cap method did really well this weekend. I mean, that was a great sale. Shout out to you guys who went and wrote those reviews for me. Shout out to everybody who picked it up. A lot of these plays we talked about in today's videos are reflective of what I teach here. So if you haven't picked it up, definitely check it out. There's a lot of great value in there, even at its full price. I know a few of you might be like, man, I can't really afford that right now. Holidays, I get it. So that's why I'm kind of bringing this up today. I want to talk to you about an opportunity that you might be able to make some money. So I just opened up an affiliate program for the market cap method. It's $20 for the affiliate program. I simply charge, you know, to make sure that you take it seriously. So essentially, for each sale that you make, you get 30% commission. That's going to help you earn some money. You can use that money to buy sports cards. You can use it to pay some bills, whatever you want to do. Obviously, you know, this is for people who have already taken the market cap method and understand its value. So yeah, what does that look like? If you sell, you know, one copy, you get $29.10. You sell 10 copies, you get $291. You sell 100 copies, you get $2,910. So there's some money to be made here with this. You guys, you went ahead and invested in yourself, and I want to give you an opportunity to make that money back. And this is going to be a cool way to do so. It's also going to help spread the word about the market cap method. And, you know, this really works well when more people are educated on it. That's kind of the goal. I always say this is going to change the way that we invest. In order for that to happen, more people have to be educated on, you know, what the market cap method is. So yeah, it's really simple. The way it works is you'll get issued a affiliate link, and whenever somebody clicks that link and they buy the market cap method through your link, you get a percentage of the sale. Of course, you want to let people know that it is an affiliate link, that you are affiliated, and you get a commission because we want to make sure we're honest and things of that nature. But again, this is going to be a way for you to earn some extra income, as well as just spread the word about the market cap method and get the rest of the market educated. So if you guys are interested in that, I did leave the link in the description below. This tool is really cool, and I'm excited to work with a few of you to kind of push it out here. All right, so what else do we have here? We have some StarStock news lined up. I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the plays that we kind of selected last week. So, you know, you see one of them was Dante DiVincenzo. If you signed up for Morning Bins, then you would have gotten that play in your newsletter. And DiVincenzo shot up really well. He was around like that. I want to say he was like around that $10, $12 price point when we kind of went ahead and picked him up. And he shot as high as 22 and kind of settled around that $20 range. Essentially what I was looking at with this play was that he was a starting guard, and his team is pretty much a sure shot, you know, for the playoffs. So he's going to get some extended playing time. And, you know, at $10, I saw a lot of value there. And now that card is doubled in price point, and, you know, the upside obviously isn't as high, but DiVincenzo is still doing a pretty solid job. So shout out to everybody who got in on that one. We also went ahead and did talked about Drew Holiday. Same team, same analysis. You know, Drew Holiday is a great player. He can put up all-star numbers. And that 2009, 2010 Topps card is just really hard to come by in good condition. So when we saw this one around like that $13, $14 range, or, you know, whatever that price point may have been, it was just far too low. And it shot up as high as, I want to say, $40. So yeah, right now it's at an all-time high, about $40. And those are just one of the cards that I don't see coming down too much, just because of its rarity and its legacy. And yeah, you know, if you guys didn't already, go back and read that analysis, because it might be able to help you on some future cards. But I thought, it might be smart to kind of go over some of these plays and just talk about, why we picked them for those of you who didn't read the newsletter or haven't signed up yet. Last but not least, this one's been talked about a lot, and that's been Darius Garland. I talked about him around the $15 price point, and yeah, same thing. Starting guard, on a low impact team, so he's going to get a lot of touches. I've been watching a lot of Darius Garland highlights over the offseason. He's been working really hard on his game, his step back, his ability to be an off ball scorer. And he's been doing really, really well. And so have his cards. I mean, again, we talked about this when it was about $15. We've seen sales as high as $48. So this one definitely 3X. I think this might be like the first 3X. And I sold mine, kind of early around the 20, maybe 25 price point, but I kind of always knew it would hit that $30 price point. I'm not gonna lie, 40, 48 definitely shocked me. I don't think Darius Garland has as much upside as he once did, but Cleveland's looking really nice right now. So, who knows? He could be a Kobe White level. So yeah, what do these players have in common? Well, they're all starting. They're all starting guards. They all have, heavy roles within their offense. And for the most part, that's been my star stock strategy so far. I talked about this in morning bins. It's going to change as we kind of run through these players. But if you notice, every day I've been sending out like starting guards or players who are heavy within the rotation, who are, between $10 and $15. It just, when you start seeing like Keldon Johnson and all these other starters go for $20 and $30, and then you got these guys who are starting who go for $10 or $15, you start to realize like, hey, all it's going to take is one or two big games for them. And then they're going to be right up there with Keldon Johnson. They're going to be right up there with, whoever else is a hyped prospect right now. And that was my strategy, and it worked out really, really well. So where do I go from there? Well, we start looking at the next level. These players are kind of in that $40, $50 price point. Again, that's just a bit too much for me. I'm not really comfortable with that, especially with somebody like Darius Garland, who's kind of unproven. So what I do is I start looking at some proven players. I start looking at Donovan Mitchell. I start seeing if he's a good value. You see, I have an offer here for $55 for his card. I'm looking to, potentially pick that up. I think he's underrated. I think we've been kind of focused on these younger prospects, and we kind of forgot about these guys who have been in the league for 2 or 3 years, who had that playoff experience. So what I'm hoping for is by the time this launches, somebody submits me this card. It's kind of a low ball offer. You never know who has one they just want to get rid of. So yeah, I talk about him in morning bins. If you guys haven't signed up for the newsletter, definitely do so you can get that full analysis. Another guy we're looking at is Wendell Carter Jr., another one of those, starting players. He's not the one or two guy in the rotation, but he's going to have a couple of good games. It's bound to happen. And we saw that happen yesterday. Wendell Carter Jr. started off extremely slow, but what I paid attention to was the amount of shots that he was putting up. He was going like 0 for 7 for 3, 2 for 10 from the field. And all I'm like, look, all he has to do is make those shots. He's putting up 10, 12 shots per game. He just has to make them. If he makes them, that's 24 points. That's 27 points. That's kind of how I played this out. I'm just looking at guys that are getting touches, that are heavy in the rotation, that are a part of the offense. People when they do these, I don't think a lot of people understand that these players, these guys, they have a set number of shots. Like, hey, Wendell, we want you to take 6 shots per game. Hey, Kobe White, we want you to put up 15 shots per game. Like that's part of the offense. So when I see a guy getting 10, 12, 15 looks, that tells me that he's a part of the offense, that all it takes for him to have is a good night. He's going to put up 20, 25 points. And that's exactly what he did. He had a great night last night. And I picked up a few of his cards, a week or so ago, simply because he was a starting center. I'm like, he's starting, he's getting touches. We just need him to have an on night. So I think right now at $16, he's a really, really good value. Again, I talk about this more in morning bins. I kind of give you some target prices you should be looking at. But yeah, if Keldon Johnson, if these other guys, if Darius Garland, if their prism's $50, there's just no reason another starting caliber player should be $16. Like that just doesn't make sense. I don't care if Wendell Carter Jr. is out there getting 10 boards and 2 blocks per game, and that's it. $16 is too cheap in a world where everybody else is 30, 40, $50. So I think he's a huge pickup. I think he actually does have potential on the offensive end. And, do I think he's going to reach Darius Garland prices? No, but I can definitely see him 2Xing from here because everybody else has. And again, that's pretty much been my strategy for the last, week or two, picking up starters who are super undervalued who are getting touches in the offense. I knew Darius Garland was going to be an offensive heavy player. I know DiVincenzo is going to get a ton of looks because he's playing with big men who play inside. Once they get trapped, they're just going to kick it out to him. Same thing with Drew Holiday. A lot of expectations for him. He's going to push that team to, having that heavy playoff run. Wendell Carter Jr., he's going to start at center. He's going to ball out. It's the same thing I did with Kobe White. He's playing the point guard now. He's going to have the ball in his hands and be able to make pretty much all the offensive decisions. If you go back and read all the analysis, most of those players had the same thing in common. They were underrated and they had a lot of usage. For the most part, we've kind of ran through that list of players. So now we're going to be switching things up here. I'll have an updated strategy for you guys. But for those of you who like to take risks, this thing can still play out. There's still a few players out there who we haven't touched on yet. I'm not going to talk about all of them because I want you guys to be able to make some gains. But, Mitchell Robinson might be one of them. Markelle Fultz was one of them. So, yeah, kind of look at that. There's still some opportunities out there. There's still some opportunities for lineups to change. If you see a player doing bad and you see a guy on the bench doing pretty well, that might shift pretty soon. Golden State's a good team to look at. Minnesota's a good team to look at. Washington, another good team to look at. So, yeah, that's the play. Check out the newsletter if you want the full analysis. And if you haven't already, go ahead and sign up. highupsideshow.com. Simply type in your email address. You'll get that play every day. But yeah, that's a quick little update for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with some more content. Let me know what you thought about today's episode. And for those of you who want to join the affiliate program, don't be afraid to hit me up if you have any questions. Yep, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Happy investing.